Greetings, dear ones. I'm Ilra of Rhythmic Service. I wanted to stop in and finish the story for her. Well, you see, you didn't get the keeper's side of this year because he was quite disappointed when it finally started up again, because he was sitting on top of the world with 3 beautiful women all by himself and really enjoying the whole thing. And then the whole thing started going again and he had to come down and all the rest of it. But it's kind of like when you talk about being on top of the world, you can choose to be there if you want to be. And pretty much by your own discretion, you can decide how you want to view it, because that's one of the more important parts. I'm going to kind of step back here for a moment, but I came in to bring you one of my smiles. There it goes. Yeah, I got you, didn't I? You weren't going to smile back, but I got you anyway. You know I can do that. You can too. And furthermore, that's part of what you're going to be carrying, because as you start to carry this light, there's going to be so many ways you can use it. You're just starting to find out about the new energies on this side of the portal, and you're going to anchor this in a new way. So I'm going to step aside now and let my brother come in, because he's got some key words he wants to kind of drop with you. But know that I love you. And any time you're getting too serious, it's me that's going to sneak up behind you and tickle your funny bone to remind you that you're playing a game and you're supposed to be having some fun. So if you're not, I'm going to come and get you. So just remember that. Good. Greetings from home. I am the keeper of time. And today is a very magical day. You have passed an energetic demarcation point that now will allow most humans to begin to anchor in the new energy on this side of the portal. It's been very challenging for most of you. You've felt the differences in time. You've gone from compressed time into expanded time and simply not been able to bring it into your brains at this point. You notice that it feels different, but you're not able to fully describe the changes or the differences that are taking place globally with all humans everywhere. Well, now you can start to change this. There was the first quadrant that had to go through. We could not even talk to you about it until the 31st of March, the 3rd month. And after the 3rd month, we could begin to identify it, because you have to settle this in. If we come in with information too early, we can impede your progress instead of help it along. And therefore, the release of information and the timing of the release of information is key and paramount to all humans at this point. Well, this is my job. I am the keeper of time. I am the one who lowers his finger when humanity can now accept new information. And we tell you, you have passed a critical point. It had to do with time past the portal. And now you are into your 2nd quadrant past the portal. And this is allowing you to anchor your hearts. For your energy was always anchored with your physical body. You were looking in this shadow world that you have projected, because you knew the energy was going to be different. You knew it was all going to change the moment you stepped forward. So you projected into it your expectations, your belief systems, your daily routines, so that everything would appear to be the same. And it is. Although most of you of very high vibration are starting to see through the clouds. You're seeing through the illusion. You're seeing the emptiness of the illusion and becoming very dissatisfied. Very challenging for most of you to do this, because now you're starting to see the reality, not the dream. And it's been very difficult for you. So you've been searching. You've been looking all over for the different parts in your brain to find the right perspective. Well, we tell you, most of you have tried on all sorts of new caps and new ideas and new perspectives during this time. That has been marvelous. But now we're going to anchor your heart, because that is the part that has not found its grounding. And we tell you, many of you have felt so distant, so challenged sometimes. When you left home, many of you were scarred in a way that has carried with you throughout most of your lives. Many of you have came to the table with all of your ideas and said, I'm going to live a life on planet Earth, and I'm going to make these contracts, and I'm going to do these different parts to make sure that I get my energy in there, that I can offer my part of God on planet Earth in the new energy. And you set up all the potentials, you set everything in motion, but one thing that most of you were not expecting was a huge case of separation anxiety. For once you found yourself on planet Earth inside one of these bubbles of biology, you still remembered home. And although you could not justify it in your brain, your heart knows the way home and never forgets it, never takes you too far from it. And many of you experience such a tremendous anxiety at that point of separation from home that you have spent much of your life trying to reconnect to that, trying to heal that scar tissue, trying to find that part of you that was missing. Well, now we tell you this is entirely possible. It is possible now to anchor your heart in new ways. And what you will find is that it has an effect on the global basis. You have always considered yourself to be a complete and whole being within yourself, which you are. But I'll also tell you, dear ones, that as you step further into this, you are connected to every single being. And every blade of grass, every leaf on a tree is part of you in some way. Now you will have the opportunity to ground your heart on this side of the perspective, on this side of that portal. And as you are able to do this, you will be able to live in your heart energy much more than you ever thought was possible before you went through this portal. Now we tell you, dear ones, it's going to be uncomfortable for some of you. For most of you are not familiar with stretching your heart that large. But the more you do, the more you feel. The more that you're able to see that light in others and recognize it and spot it and help to bring it out. That is the connection that all of you will ground with. But we tell you, you are carrying more light than you've ever carried before. You're holding more energy in your physical body than ever before. Your physical body has new needs. Your grounding has always been with the physical body. Your spirit has taken over a physical body, and therefore the physical body needs regular grounding. What is the grounding? Well, it's everything from drinking water to feeding the body to nurturing it. Oh yes, sex, of course. But all of the things of earth are part of that grounding process. But now your spirits need a grounding as well. You're carrying more light than you've ever carried before. And you have new needs, even of your physical body, which is the reason there is so much interest in helping the physical change. For much as you start to align your energy in your physical body, it aligns it for your spirit automatically. It allows you to carry and be responsive from the spirit, not the human. Now you are talking about living in multidimensionality, where all of your perfection is here at once. Where you can call on the larger you, the one that you used to call your higher self. Well, that is the perfect you. But you're living on a planet of imperfection. If you held your perfection from home, you would not be able to play the game, very simply. Or you would be called a savior or something of that nature. Have great difficulties, believe me. We've seen lots of them come through. But you are here now to be able to bring that to fruition. And we tell you, for some of you, you will step into this very hesitantly because your heart is the part that you have always protected. You are free to express your brain and your visions and try on new thoughts that you've never tried on before, but new feelings are much more difficult for you. You have a tendency to hold the old and protect what you have, even if it is painful. Well, now is the time as you ground in this new energy, as you pass even these next few days, your bodies will have an opportunity to connect more of your heart energy than ever before. And that is the opportunity for all of you to find a new grounding and a new light home. And if you've still been carrying some of these old energetics and some of the challenges and some of the scar tissue from when you left home, some of you cried for days. Have you ever heard a baby crying? To where you know the spirit is disturbed, but you cannot find anything physically wrong. Dear ones, that is often the memories from home. For when you finally awaken from the dream and you open your eyes, you will see us. And you will understand what you have been missing. If it was possible, we would pull aside the veil for just a moment and show that to you. But that would not work either, for all of you would go home. You would say, oh, this game is ridiculous. Let's go home and play. Go return home. We'd have to start all over again, wouldn't we? But here you are. So here is the peace that we give you for this month. We will give you a challenge. Why not? You are the bearers of light. And furthermore, you are the bearers of a new light. You are carrying a specific percentage of your own energetics from home in the physical body you have right at this moment. And we tell you that if you are able to share 10 people your light over this next month, it will grow 100%. That's a pretty easy equation for you to understand. How do you share your light with someone? You have opportunities every single day of your life. Most of you go, oh, that does not fit into my world, or I cannot say that to this person. I can say it over here in my safe room full of light workers where I can say anything, but over here in my daily world, at my job, at the bank, I cannot say that. Try it. Push it. And if you're not able to actually say something, do it with your eyes. Do it with your heart energetics. But touch another human every day and attempt it. And if you are able to touch and make contact with 10 beings over the next month, you will start a wave on planet Earth that will build and crescendo into a new energy toward the end of this year. That's how fast this can happen now. We tell you this because you have done this before. We shared with you a little secret, a little mathematical secret, quite some years ago. We simply said share and celebrate these dates because these dates will build upon themselves. And you began at the 020202 and went all the way through the 121212 where you walked yourselves through these portals. That was incredibly beautiful from our side of the veil. There was so much cheering going on up here, we could not hear ourselves think. We don't have ears, not really. But there was so much energetics behind you. What happened is you created the energy. And at the time when the world was originally going to end, you had so much energy behind you, you just kept on going. And even though the portal was there and you knew on the other side it would be different, you projected into it your dreams, your hopes, your image of who you were in that moment. And you created the possibilities to move effortlessly through something that would have taken 90% of all life on Earth in that quick. You walked right through it, dear ones, never giving it a second thought. And now you are anchoring in a new way, and you're going, why are things different? You knew things were going to be different. You didn't know how. You've all been looking for this point. Oh, I'll wake up one day and everything will be perfect. Well, we tell you if you did, you would be bored out of your mind. You would not like planet Earth at all, for it is the challenge often that brings you to your senses, to who you really are and what your capabilities are. Know that you have made it. Now, what are you going to do with it? That is the remaining question. You can anchor this, you can ground, you can find the new ways to balance your body and your spirit. And as long as you are working with this, it will work. But we have brought up the point of the separation anxiety. For there are many of you that still carry scar tissues from the day you were born. Well, we tell you, now is the time to start releasing that. There are many healers all over the planet and more surfacing and awakening every day. Why is that so? For the simple reason that you've all brought something from home. You've all brought in a key element that only you could carry. So know that that is needed now. This is why we are all here together, awakening each other from the dream. You are becoming the new human every moment of every day. How will your heart adjust? That is the question. When you find that pain, when you find that difficulty, or even where you love so much that your heart hurts, you're in the right place. You know that you have just stretched your human being to carry more light. It's not about pain. It simply means that you have moved past the pain of the separation anxiety. You have not been dumped on earth. Many of you feel that. Many of you feel like, oh, I made my deal and now all of a sudden it's not there anymore. All of a sudden I'm all by myself. Well, we tell you, you are placed there for a very specific reason, and you will find it very soon. So trust first, but trust your heart. It always knows the way home. And what you will find, that if you can move past the fear of stretching that heart, that now you will find a strength that was never there before. And where you've always considered this to be a little bit of a vulnerable area, you would use this part of your brain to think around it, to justify it, to make it work in your world. And now it can be pure energy. Allow yourself to reach as many people as possible. And then there is always the beautiful part that we see in so many humans called self-doubt. We are not aware of that here because we are connected to each other here in ways that we can see. So self-doubt would be a weak link in a chain that we will not allow here at home. However, humans experience this often because you have been successful at pretending to be separate. So you do not always know your greatest strengths are all around you. You've always pretended that they are part of something else or another teacher, another lesson to learn, another healing to go through. All of them are connected. One heart on the globe. And that is what is taking place. You are connecting the one heart. And it is working in ways that you never dreamed. Take this opportunity and use it consciously over the next month. Touch no less than 10 people with your light freely. Do not try to determine the outcome of that because that is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to use it, to touch them, and then let it go on its way. And by the end of this year, by December 31st, you will be celebrating in a new energy of the heart. For now, it can exist on planet Earth in a new way. You are creating this reality every single day. It is not possible to predict the future at this time on Earth because you are writing it the moment your foot hits the ground. You are creating your path. Welcome home, creators. Welcome to the new planet Earth. I am the keeper of time. And I ask you to treat each other with respect. Nurture one another at every opportunity. enjoy this new game and play well together. Spava.
Spava. Oh, that was beautiful.
What do we call it?
Touch 10
It'll fade
people.
really quick. What do we call it? What's a word that we can put down that one?
Touching others. I don't know. I like that part.